What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the KSL. We're going to go into the second half of tonight's games. So far here, it has been, at least when we're casting, nothing but 3-0s.
Yeah, I'm waiting for good series.
Yes.
I think this could be it.
I hope so.
I'm going to keep saying that till I'm right.
Yeah, you're going to get it eventually, I think.
It'll happen eventually. There'll be
a bunch of good series this season. I was a little bit worried about our first one before we started. I thought, well, Best is probably going to win this, and he could just crush through, and he did. This time, I actually think it is more realistic to say it's going to be a close series.
Yeah. Well, it's a Zerg that used to be really, really strong. Got out of the military somewhat recently. Starting to show some real signs of brilliance. I really love his play so far.
Yeah.
He doesn't win everything or anything like that. He doesn't look like necessarily as strong as Sulky right now, but when he looks good, he looks really good.
Yeah.
And then he's going up against Sharp, who's the third best Terran in the world. Very strong player, but Sharp's weakness out of the three matchups would be TVZ, in my opinion. Not that his TVZ is bad by any means.
No.
It's a little bit one-dimensional. He's really an SK Terran guy. He plays bio pretty much all the time. So that, that makes a player a little bit easier, right? You play against someone like Last, you're like, well, he can do anything. Flash, he can do anything, right?
Right.
With Sharp, if he does like a 1-1-1 or a mech build, that actually is a little bit surprising because he almost always does fall back onto bio play.
Sharp shows a lot of tenacity when he's playing as well. I mean, this is a guy who, he's got a big following. You could see it means a lot to him when he wins, but his games are really cool. Like, he gets in a lot of really weird positions, and even if he's at a disadvantage, he oftentimes manages to come back. Mm-hmm. One that I always think of is the one where he had his gas stolen and then went into against the Protoss and then went to infantry play. And then the game was actually drawn out. Yeah, it was like a super drawn out game, and it's just he's one of the more exciting players that you can follow here.
Yeah. Thing is, a lot of the ways that he normally comes back against people is like with vultures, for instance, right?
Harassing.
Yeah. He's very good at, like, the vulture's kind of his unit. But not as much in TVZ.
We got a quick interview. We'll be right back. Or a quick video.
네, 이번엔 단단하게 경기에 임했는데요. CJ.
All right, we're back. And we're about to jump into this best of 5. We're going to bring our 2 players out and then immediately go into our match.
All right. This is Queen, a.k.a. Zero. Very strong Zerg player. I think someone that we're going to see at the very top relatively soon here. But of course, this is the loser match. His opponent, Sharp. This guy has been really coming up. He made it into the finals of ASL Season 1, but this was before all the old guns were back in shape. They got back in shape. He fell off the map for a very long time, but quickly started rising in 2018. Really kind of got himself together. He started getting in really good shape. He was taking yoga, working on his mentality quite a bit, practicing a lot every single day, really focusing on playing his best. And now he's just kind of beastly. He was just in the finals of KSL Season 2, where he did end up losing to Sulky, though.
Taking a look here at Queen, formerly known as Zero, this guy was a phenomenally strong StarCraft player, especially right around before StarCraft 2 came out, when StarCraft 1 was still obviously very hot in Korea. This guy looks terrifying, and it's very cool to have him here now. We, since StarCraft Remastered has been out, we've really had all sorts of players from all types of different eras come onto the scene and do some really impressive stuff. And it's going to be a lot of fun to see how exactly Queen performs here in this KSL.
Yeah. Hey, look at these win rates, by the way. Okay, 59% against Protoss. That's actually really good win rate. 61% against Terran. That's amazing. But look at that, 28% against Zerg. Right? So it certainly is his weaker matchup out of everything. I'm a bit worried. for him here. Like, if he falls out so early in this tournament, I would feel more confident with him against Best than him against either of these Zerg players, which is such a weird thing to say because I think Best is better than them. But, yeah, it's... We'll see what he brings. I mean, Sharp preps really well, and I say that his TVZ is the weakest, and I mean it, but that doesn't mean it's weak. It's
well,
still
it doesn't
strong.
mean it's bad. Yeah, it's just if he had a soft spot in one of those matchups, that would be where you'd see it. But
he rides the other two matches to the top of tournaments.
Sure.
We haven't seen him do something where he just crushes a bunch of top-end Zerg players and gets far.
No.
That isn't how he's done it.
Now, Sharp, especially in the last 2 years, has had a lot of stage experience, a lot of tournament experience, so he's definitely in comfortable territory here going into this KSL match. That's not to say that Zero is going to be nervous, but we've certainly, if you've been following us here for all the StarCraft 1 that we've been casting in Korea, you definitely have seen a lot more of Sharp than you have of Queen. I keep wanting to call him Zero. Queen here.
Yeah. I wish people wouldn't change their IDs, especially when they've been known for
really
so long.
messes. Yeah, it really messes with me.
Don't
as a
worry.
caster,
I'm
but
sure he'll pull a shuttle at some point.
Yeah.
And join a game with Zero as his ID, and the second he does that, I'm never calling him Queen again.
That's right. Destroys the format in my brain.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're going to be going to this match in just a little bit. Sharp, an excellent harass player. I'm curious to see how exactly Queen's going to play this time around. But it should be a close series.
All right, here we go. Game number 1 on Overwatch. So we have Queen in the top left, Sharp in the bottom right. This map, in my opinion, is pretty Terran favored for this matchup. You really need, as a Zerg, a third base with only a single ramp going to it, or a very tight choke. And this only has the top right and the bottom left, which will put the Terran player, who has a lot of pressure at his disposal in the early mid-game and right up through the rest of the game, basically, a lot of chances to prevent or bust down your third.
There it is.
Wow.
We've got the Voice Legends. Is that what it says?
Voice of Legends.
Voice of Legends, thank you. On the box. Very cool.
Yeah. Super cool stuff.
I want to be on the box, Artosis.
You're never going to be on the box, Stasis.
But the thing is, if these people over here came from Tejan. If we're on the box, you see their faces replace the 3 races for StarCraft on the box. So who ends up being the third person on the box if we get the box?
Well, we would just there wouldn't be a Zerg. You just put the Hydra next to us.
I thought you were gonna be like it has to be day 9. Then I'm like, okay, but is he in the middle
that
then?
Would make sense. Yeah.
Or did like who actually gets to be in the middle?
Terran is normally in the middle, but they didn't do it like that. Like the Marine is, if someone got to the Terran, it would be the Marine.
Right.
Yet he's not on that. He's on the right hand side.
I like that the Hydra is giving you and me.
It would be pretty cool.
That's funny.
This he's preventing right now. The expansion room going down. It looks like he wanted to go for a 14cc, or a 13cc rather in this case. Yeah, that's kind of neat, by the way, to see this on like a 2-player map, because Zergling rushes are like pretty bad on 2-player maps because there's not even a chance they won't scout it, you know. So you almost never would go for a pool first on a map like this because your opponent's SCV will just get up there and see it, and like the Zerglings won't do anything. Like, it's not hard once you get to a certain level to completely block the Zergling rush from doing anything.
Yeah, there's certain things you will just absolutely stop.
Yeah.
By the way, 3 hatch right away here for Queen. A pool is just now going to start, so
yeah, it's a good counter when you scout the CC first. Do some drone harassment, sure, but the 3 hatch before pool, it's nice. Oh my God, he got an SCV. That's crazy.
Wow.
I wish I could see Sharp's face right now.
Certainly, he's going to be very frustrated with that.
It's not even a probe, you know.
You know, I gotta say, Queen is really doing a lot of damage with his 1 drone. It's pretty impressive.
His micro is phenomenal with everything. He's just a ridiculously strong micro player. So this is a Ling tight wall. You can make a single Marine and basically stay alive forever here. We'll see what Sharp wants to do. Like, it seems as if... Okay, he just got his gas right now. That doesn't tell us too much. Okay, the engineering bay coming up, though, really does. And the fact that this drone is still in here harassing a little bit and scouting that is very, very useful. But if you're going to go bio off of a command center first, which is generally what you'll end up doing,
right?
Although there are some mech builds you can do off of it, what you'll do is you'll be able to get the +1 very quickly.
Yeah.
But you'll also be able to get a bunch of barracks up very quickly and your academy up very quickly. It's like the cheater build. It's, you know, it's economic cheese is what it is. It's in that other direction where if you're doing this and they 9-pool you, you're toast. But if they don't, you're like, oh, look at that. My build's better than yours.
I guess I just win.
You have a lot. You definitely have a lot with this build. So it's a very strong choice from Sharp, and it's a map that favors Terran already, in my opinion. So yeah, things are looking good for him right now, and I'm excited to see what Queen wants to do to try to make up for this.
So when you're a Terran and you're doing a build like this, and I think this is a great build to pick and try out, but what are you afraid of the Zerg trying to do?
Afraid of? You're not really afraid of anything. Here, on this map in particular, the only thing I would even be thinking of to look out for would be a lurker rush.
Okay.
Because you have a wall in. So that can mess you up a little bit, where if they get up there, they're going to supply block you, you have to lift a racks, and then you have bunkers that are close to your minerals, which it gets annoying. You're kind of stuck in there. But because it's a CC first, and he saw that it was 3 hatch before pool, he's just going to be on the map with Marine Medic before lurkers could even hit anyways. So there's really nothing to fear. You're just going to get up to your comm stats, get your upgrades going, figure out what he's doing, and defend it while keeping pressure on, right? It's like that's how he's going to approach this. He's so safe right now. I'm actually just a little bit surprised he didn't throw the gas down right away. He's playing a very economic game. The comm stat, rather, sorry.
Okay, I was good.
Yeah, no. Well, the thing is, once your academy is done, you can. The thing is, based on a timing like this, he doesn't need the comm stats till right now.
Does a Zerg still feel threatened to have to defend their third base location? Is it tougher to hold that, or is this around the same level of difficulty? If you go 3 hatch and they go for a quick CC, because there's always going to be that push whenever you're going for bio. The Terran is going, no matter what, to try to come out on the map and start picking a fight and start trying to deny hatcheries and control the map. Yeah. Is it considerably harder for the Zerg to actually hold the third base that's being taken now?
In what manner do you mean? Like with a certain strategy or against the strategy or because
against
of the
what
two
Terran's
ramps?
doing? Against what Terran's
doing. Okay, so against
right
what Terran's doing, yeah, because he's going to get +1 quickly and everything just flows with the command center first. It's silly. Like you've done plenty of Nexus first. You know how that feels, right? It's similar to that where you're just, and I'm talking about Nexus first against Terran.
Right,
where you're going to be like, I have so many units on the map, oh my god. That's what it's like for Terran here. And he's going to be able to put that pressure on based on, like, I think what we'll see, because Queen is so good at Mutomicro, is lots of Mutaling, like a very big commitment into that to stop the push. But that's scary, because if Sharp reinforces perfectly, which he is capable of doing, he'll hit a critical mass that the Mutaling won't be able to stop, and then Zero is going to rely on probably counterattacks, or he's going to lose his third.
We should have a Queen's Nest coming up here pretty soon. When you get that third gas up, you want to try to rush into that Defiler tech. Well, you can. That's what we usually see. Sometimes we'll see them actually try to stick it out and make a larger army, but it seems like Defiler tech is the way to go, especially when you have a Terran player who's powered up really effectively.
It's very true. You need to get the Defilers out, unless you're doing like crazy Zerg or something. I haven't seen the base, so I can't tell you yet. But you see that micro really, really strong so far. And yeah, okay, so see how there's not a Queen's Nest on the way? This is kind of pointing towards what I was mentioning. Lots of mutas and links to try to reduce this army size to save the third. It's a little bit too dangerous to go to lurkers too quickly here, or hive too quickly.
So far, this control has been immaculate here for Queen.
Yeah.
I mean, this is really, really impressive.
It's ridiculous what he's gotten done. Like, this is really absurdly good micro. Sharp did make some mistakes here. He got a little bit too close to the wall. You cannot get next to any walls with your bio because that's where mutas can really shred you apart. But so far, Queen has done great. Like, this push against most Zergs would already be near the third.
Yeah.
And we're hitting the area where he's not even going to have a chance to bust it.
And he's really taken it on very directly, and it's been really effective so far. I don't know if Terran's going to be able to move out that much or that well at all here.
Yeah, it could be a little bit tough. Like, his Bioforce is not that big. When you're going for 5 barracks play before in a factory and you've got your +1, you are, like, you're supposed to be hitting the third right before lurkers. That's like, that's optimal. It won't always happen, of course, but the fact that he's still right outside his natural is a testament to this Mutalisk micro.
So with the number of mutas that he has here, especially if he hits on the edges of where the Marine clumps are, you're going to kill 3 Marines with a shot. If you do it right, assuming that they're all going to connect properly. And that's what you're seeing here like this. This is beautifully done. Terran is staying back here, and Zerg is actually not slowed down. He's doing a rotation, it looks like, here with these mutas.
And a lot of lurkers on the way. And he's even going to have these out on the map. He's not even going to take a defensive stance. He can burrow a couple at the bridge, and then that's impenetrable. And then he can throw the others over to the side with the links and just kind of utilize those while keeping tabs on the army with the mutas. This is buying him plenty of time to get into Hive and then eventually take a 4th base.
We have a Vessel coming here. Irradiate is very helpful against these Mutalisks. See if he can get it up. Keep in mind that there's this small bridge area just outside where the Marines are, just a little bit north of the screenshot here. It's hard to get across that when the lurker number is high enough. The bridge is always acting like a great funnel. Basically, lurkers want to fight anything in a narrow area, never in an open one. So the Zerg is probably going to try to really control this area up here and make sure Terran can't really move out.
It's interesting to see 2 tanks here. And yeah, he loses one already. So Sharp is in really deep right now. This is a really terrible situation for him. First, he had so much bio, and then it just kind of continually got whittled down. Then he made 2 tanks, which is always an investment. Maybe he was trying to hit like a 2-tank timing push or something like that. Builds like that do exist. But to then instantly lose, yeah, he even got siege mode. So this is actually a very bad situation for Sharp, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's not getting any equity out of his army. I don't know if he can even push across the map here.
Look at the supplies right now. Right now, 11 minutes in, and Queen has the supply lead.
And
this is not what this is supposed to look like.
Terran is always supposed to be ahead in supply at this phase of the game. So this is crazy. The fact that Queen's just outgrown Sharp. And again, Sharp has such a long journey to get all the way to Queen's side of the map. With this many lurkers, this many lings, and Mutalisks, I'm worried that Sharp is just going to get run over.
Well, I think he should be able to stay alive here. A couple good irradiates are going to be really helpful. I'd love to see. Yeah, one on the mutas is absolutely perfect. Look at that. He actually splits really poorly, too, so that was good for Sharp. A lot of splash damage hit the Zerg army. But as soon as you take out those mutas, or at least soften them up, the Marines, as they micro back, should be able to pick off lots of lings and the mutas, and the lurkers have a hard time charging alone. So let's see how good the micro is here.
Okay, Zerg's going to come down, picking a fight. There isn't the bulk of the Terran army over here. These lurkers seem to be burrowing in range of the siege tank, so the Zerg is going to have to back up. Some of these lurkers getting stuck together as they try to retreat. Marines now pursuing.
Very good engagement from Sharp there for a moment. It takes one set of spines there that did a little bit of extra damage to his Marines, but he's right above his bridge, so he can rally very quickly into this set of units and continue to push forward. Look at that supply switch right around. Suddenly Queen is down 20 supply from before.
Okay. He's going to edge forward now. Siege tank sieging up. These lurkers are going to have to unburrow, go back, and burrow again, like we're going to see in just a second here. He needs to buy time. The Defiler's out and consumed. The upgrade is done. So he blankets that area with 1 Dark Swarm. And once the Dark Swarm goes down, the Terran basically has to wait out that.
Yeah, you can't really break through a Dark Swarm. It's almost always inadvisable. But look at this. He gets a drop-off at this time. He's going to stop the 4th base. And that's kind of the phase of the game that we're in, right? He missed the killing the 3rd base like a long time ago. But if you can keep them off a 4th for a long time, get your own 3rd base up, your own 4th base up, that's where you start to take a big lead as Terran. Oh my god.
Man!
That was the, like,
Oh my god,
such
he
a good
even got
engage
the
for Sharp.
defiler there. That was beautiful.
Wow.
Now he's going to try to push up here a little bit further. And I don't know how many more defilers are out on the map, but with the 4th base loss, you don't have a ton of gas to get a lot of defilers and still be making lurkers. Oh man, that was brutal back there. Can he get these siege tanks up here? Can he actually breach this position? There's 2 defilers out there consuming these right now.
Yeah, you should be able to keep Dark Swarms going. Like, when you aren't on 3 gas, you can't really do much else, but you can keep that count reasonable.
I think he killed the lurker.
Yeah, he did kill the
So
lurker.
it's just these Marines here, and again, the siege tank does the splash, does damage under Dark Swarm. I think he can actually stim and just run through this. Yeah, he is.
Might be able to. Another defiler and some lurkers coming up. Sharp just taking control of this game right now, looking fantastic. Queen having a bit of a hard time, though.
This is pretty crazy. He's just willing his way up that ramp. Again, it looks like these lurkers are going to come forward. Good targeting, though. Oh!
Yeah, we're seeing a little bit of failing right there from Queen, unfortunately. Sharp actually was down to 3 Marines and like 8 medics right there, so it wasn't that much damage. Comes out of the Nidus now. Maybe he can still hold on, but he's lost a lot of drones and many of his tech units.
I like clogging this little ramp up here with the medics. Meanwhile, there's going to be another push over here. Kind of surprised he didn't gun down that Nidus cavern, by the way, but looks like he can actually maybe take this on over here. The Lings are going to have to pop back out here on the other side. Some Widow Mines, Spider Mines, excuse me, being planted down over here.
I mean, that's something that is kind of stylistic for Sharp. He loves to add in Spider Mines a little bit later in his TVZs. He's done such a good job. He has his 3rd base up. It was scary for a little bit, though. Queen definitely got the early edge. Just a couple poor engagements. And, you know, someone that's good at controlling that much bio can really whittle down your unit count.
He does have control of the map, though, here. I'm wondering if he can pull off the eraser. You know, just get over on top of that. I mean, there's not that many Scourge out here. I feel like we might be at a point in time where Sharp just has enough. And look at this one hero Firebat. Can he come in there and actually take out that Nidus?
Yeah, gonna kill that and this 3rd base pretty much for free. Not sure what Queen,
GG.
Say, there's nothing else left for him here once you lose the 3rd base.
You know, Sharp, again, exhibiting exactly why he's such a scary player to play against. I thought Queen was playing the game of his life in the early mid-game. But, you know, as Sharp managed to get further and further across the map, Queen just did not have good engages against that army.
Here's the cool thing about Queen, okay? And this is why I really think he's going to be a champion pretty soon. That early game looked stronger than anyone's early game that we really look at.
Yeah, I think you're
His
right.
Mutalisk Micro was out of control. He was playing against Command Center first, which is basically the scariest build. He whittled down the Marine Medic so much, right? He got his 3rd base up, no problem, really quickly. He was just kind of keeping Sharp back forever. The thing is, he's playing on that knife's edge where he's like, I am trying to destroy you. I'm trying to outplay you by ×10. And he almost did. But the thing is, a lot of Zergs at that point, they'll just like go up really quickly into the hive and get the lurkers out and throw the Dark Storms out and play that turtle game and try to get the 4th and play that turtle game and then finally an Ultras. And that's how they try to win.
Yeah.
He's actually trying to like dominate the entire game, which is where he gets ahead, but then that's where Sharp can get ahead, right? So there's just this little bit of an area where players are like, wow, you've been dominating me, but now is my timing, and they hit it and he dies. But once he fixes that area that's very hard to fix, once he gets that like perfect, ooh, what a scary player.
Now let's point out as well, that was a quick command center opening there. I thought Zerg was, like you were pointing out, Artosis, Zerg was handling it really, really well, but the problem is Terran does have so much muscle, they can really push through almost anything. And I think those poor engages when that fight was going down was problematic, but we need to see how exactly Terran's going to open up in Game 2 coming forward here, because I don't think you can go quick CC every game.
You can't 13 CC every game. It's crazy.
Well, you could, but you'd probably lose because there is a very easy counter of Zerg just making a quick pull and killing you. So I think it's smart that we had Sharp bring that out early on, because it doesn't telegraph any of his play style in a more traditional normal game. Yeah, I don't know what exactly to expect here going into Game 2, but I will say you're 100% right. The Queen looks absolutely terrifying, better than any Zerg we've seen early on.
Yeah,
He just has to keep that momentum going.
It's really cool to see, and it's a very different style than someone like Sulky, who actually is the best Zerg in the world right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't wait for game 2.
We're going to go to a quick commercial. When we come back, game number 2 here at the KSL.
지금 저그 6시로 러커 들어볼 거예요. 보세요. 오잖아요. 그리고 스캔 뿌려서 잡을 준비해야 되는데 막아야 되는데요.
잘 맞추는데? 근데 나랑은 좀 안 맞네.
맞추는데 안 맞는다는 건 또 뭐야?
역시 해설은 샤우팅 용준자.
용준이 형. 형 주무시는데 어떻게 해요?
왜?
형 찾아요 지금.
아까 그 선수야? 저 선수 한두 경기로 안 끝나거든.
아직 절반도 안 했어요.
이거 날밤 새겠네. 나 이대빵이 좋은데. 선수가 전병력 한 방으로씩 갑니다. 자, 상대 앞마당 멀티 밀어냈고요. 다음 이제 생산 건물만 장악하면 지지. 그렇지. 이럴 땐 역시 박하닉 풀업세이드 탱크에 싹 다 녹아. 이건 뭐죠? 사이렉 스톰.
간만에 날 잡고 하는데 잘 안 되네. 어몽 도와주세요.
자, 오늘은 어떤 명승부가 펼쳐질지 명경기 속에 명언이 터지는 거거든. 지지?
사드론이 뭐야 사드론이. 명언보단 예측이지. 다시 무당에서 가자.
너의 플레이, 상대방의 플레이, 게임의 승패까지 모두 보이는구나. 이거 질 것 같죠? 그러면 제가 흐름 아는데 해설 바꾸겠죠? 제 말 맞죠?
에이 긴 빠지게.
할게요.
그렇다면 MC 용주.
쇼입니다 마니. 상대 선수 프로브까지 동원합니다. 프로브까지 동원. 탱커 1번은 센즈가 됐고 1번은 통통통통통통통. 이제는 병력 없어요. 지지.
역시 해설은 예측이지. 역시 해설은 명불허전. 역시 해설.
뭉치면 살고 흩어지면 죽는다. 해설에 의한, 해설을 위한 해설의 게임을 시작하자.
예측은 감이 아니라 실력입니다. 나의 실력이 선수의 실력이 된다.
나의 샤우팅, 나의 열정은 선수의 즐거움을 위한 것이다.
이 모든 게임의 주인공이 있고 이 모든 게임은 하나의 이야기지.
이거밖에 안 남았네 지금요. 네,
더.
리그도 가는데요.
설마 이겨요?
네, 이거 이겨요. 오! 와! 당신만을 위한 위대한 그들의 해설 시작하겠습니다. 스타크래프트 전설의 목소리 팩 전격 출시.
야 나도 한 판만 하자.
What's up, everybody? We're back here at the KSL. We're going to go into Game 2 in our second best of 5 of the night. Sharp versus Queen. Queen with a great early half of the game. Sharp closing it out with really strong performance, crushing through. We are expecting this to be a close series, unlike everything else we've cast in StarCraft 1 so far here at the KSL. We've had nothing but 3-0s. We're hoping, we're praying for a more even series we can cast for you.
Yeah, I hope so. Overwatch is a little bit of a tough map, and Sharp got a great build to open. It was kind of an interesting strategy, utilizing quite a few siege tanks early on, which we don't see too often in this matchup anymore. But yeah, cool first game. Now, loser chooses map. Queen chose the map Circuit Breakers. This is generally considered a very good map for Terran against Zerg. I guess we see here that the record is pretty even here. But yeah, I'm telling you, I think Terrans are pretty darn comfortable here. There's a lot of bases that can be taken. Terran doesn't really mind taking a mineral base as third if you need to do that, the closer one or anything like that. I wonder what Zero's plan is for this map. Yeah, Queen, Zero, whatever tastes.
That's just like you tasteless calling them by their IDs.
Yeah.
Tasteless.
Okay, I can't wait for Eyewater to get out of the military.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
Whew. So yeah, I'm just excited to see what Queen wants to bring here, because it's not the map choice that I would have guessed from him, you know?
Let's find out what happens. Game 2 has loaded up. This is Queen versus Sharp. Right now, Sharp with a 1-0 lead.
So we have Sharp in the bottom right, Queen in the top right. Queen going to get that scout right off the bat. And see Sharp setting his hotkeys for a third base at the Mineral. Not surprised to see that. Whereas with Queen, he'll be expanding to the top left as his first third base. What a weird way to say that is. His
first third base.
Yeah. If that gets
First third
probably
base.
his
It's like my
second
first
third
third marriage, you know?
Yeah.
Guys, thank you for joining us here, KSL. Well, those guys there, but I was really talking more to you guys at home. Don't forget, we're going to be on tomorrow, same time we started today, 7 p.m. KST. And Artosis and I also have been casting GSL all week, StarCraft 2, and we'll continue to cast that into next week. Oh, no, see, they got the box too.
Yep. I think a lot of people here got the box. I think we're even giving some away.
This gentleman took the train.
Yeah, everyone very excited to be here for the matches and to pick up those boxes. Again, the place that they were doing the signing and giving away a bunch of those boxes and having some fun activities is actually very close to the GSL studio, which is only one subway stop away.
That's right.
It's actually really walking distance from here.
They call this part of Korea Starcraft Town.
Starcraft
stuff goes
AKA
down.
Gangnam.
That's right.
There's a whole song about the style I've heard.
Yeah. It's not far from being Oppa Starcraft style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that would be a good song.
Yeah, because it has the word StarCraft in it.
Yeah, well, obviously it would be about StarCraft.
Oh, yeah. Well, in that
Old
case, it'd
men
be really
playing
good.
StarCraft. That would be amazing. Are you kidding me? You don't think that'd be a good song?
I want to point out, Artosis, we've had someone here that came by plane on Jeju Air.
Yeah.
Someone that came by train.
On the KTX.
I'm sure people came here by automobile.
Yeah, probably.
But what about horses?
No one came by horse.
Llamas, camels?
No, none of those. One person, though, did come here via balloon.
One person came here via hot air balloon.
I never said hot air.
They just put a bunch of balloons together like the movie Up.
Yes.
And floated here. Okay.
That's right.
Got it. By the way, we had an eBay planted where the hatchery normally goes.
Yeah, this is a pool first build.
Yes.
And so has to bring his SCVs here. That is very sloppy and dangerous micro that we just saw right there. The SCVs dancing all over each other for a moment. Occasionally, they'll overdance and hit your Marines. Your Marines will dance towards the Zerglings if you do something like that. You gotta be careful.
One little trick for controlling this is to hotkey the screen where the ramp is, and then your other screen where the minerals are, so you can flick back and forth and micro them through.
Very true. That's something you should do if you're being rushed.
You're probably wondering why you don't hear us talk about little tricks like that as much in StarCraft 2. StarCraft 1 is a lot more about little micro tricks and kind of knowing how to navigate the interface.
There's a lot more little tiny things that you need to know how to do.
Normally I would never be telling you like, oh, well, they put their sentries on a different hotkey or something like that. It's a different thing here in StarCraft 1 where there's so many moments where fights can go either way depending on who knows what little techniques micro-wise to use.
Yeah. That was a smash right there. You just destroyed so many Zerglings for free. Perfect defense of the early pool build and everything.
This SCV is inside the Zerg's main now, and it has scouted a layer.
Yeah. I think right now Sharp is feeling as comfortable as you really humanly can. He stopped a pretty early pool. He killed a bunch of Lings basically for free. He didn't have to pull that many SCVs. He's now scouted like a 4-minute layer. I mean, nothing here is anything that's like too difficult to deal with at this point in the game. It's not like anything too crazy can come out. He's even got a great SimCity already with that depot. It's really, if like Queen could try like a mass Zergling attack once he clears his SCV, but with that depot there, it already messes it up so much, Things can go wrong very quickly.
So what is the game plan then for, a Zerg player who opens up like this? I think a lot of this initial opening was a response to the last game.
Okay.
Terran holds it off, really has
I
suffered
think you're
no
right,
losses.
though. Yeah.
What is Zerg going to try to do? Actually, is he just going to do Mass Ling and try to bust him?
Yeah, he might, because his Spire is going to be quite a bit later, so he has some time to mess around and utilize these Zerglings. So yeah, the Spire just now starting. If he needs to reduce the Marine count, and the thing is, Sharp does stuff like this all the time, looking for like singular Ling kills. Like, okay, he already has medics out though, so it gets really hard to actually kill this bio, even with that many Lings. Okay, he's doing a good job of hiding the rest of them though.
Yeah. So what you're trying to do is show.
Okay, Sharp sees him.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, that was a pretty good surround right there. He's staying in between the medics and the Marines for the most part, so he's going to reduce the Marine count really well here. Sharp's not going to die from this, but this was really good by Zero.
Yeah, he's going to go back here. Now there's a bunker
Wow.
being made. He does have one fire bat. Nice targeting on that bunker.
This is a very tough situation because you have to get your turrets up relatively soon here, and your bio is so low right now. You have to defend against these Zerglings. You can't let them up your ramp. And look at this, the two groups, it's so well done.
Okay, hitting that Marine over there. And yeah, you can see there's no turrets up just yet. Spire.
Oh! His engineering bay just started. How far along is the Spire?
I think we're very
Oh,
close.
more Lings, okay. It's a
Yeah, I
little
thought it might
way
be
away.
Mutas hatching right
I
out
was
of there.
like-
I thought, oh my god, Sharp is dead.
Yeah, if you don't have your turrets done when the Mutas get there, with someone with Queen's level Mutalisk micro, dead.
Okay, so he's managed to stabilize. There's no longer any more Lings doing damage.
Mm-hmm.
He also knows that Mutas are an inevitability here. They are going to be coming. We don't have any hatching just yet. I don't know if he wants to try to dive back in, though. I think there's too many Marines, fire bats, and everything else. I think that would be a fruitless endeavor.
He checks. Now, what these Zerglings are going to want to do is run in and hit turrets a little bit later. Like, he's going to send his Mutas down, and the Bioforce might have to run around. We'll see what the turret coverage looks like. But if he can get the Bio out of position at all, and you can get a couple Lings on a turret, they really help to reduce that enough for the Mutas to kill it.
Well, now we've got a lot of these Marines gathering up out here. The question is, can the Terran stabilize here? Keep in mind, sometimes you'll have the Mutas come inside the main, do damage, and then they'll have the Lings and the Mutas pounce at the front, at the entrance, maybe taking out the bunker. So far, though, so good here.
Ooh, that's very annoying. Got to get another SCV up there ASAP. Finish up that turret. And third base going up right now for Queen.
Okay, so far not so good here for Queen. He needs to do more damage than this. I really like where Sharp wedged those Marines there.
That was interesting because normally you don't keep them right next to an edge because they can spray, but he forced the turret to finish, and with two turrets there, it becomes much less good for the Zerg to go in and dive on the Marines.
So, from here, it seems as though there's not much more damage that can be dealt. We have the Hydralisk Den coming down here. The Zerg is taking the upper left main. That's the most common location to expand to in these positions on this map, in this matchup. You just want to try to get that base that's the farthest away from the Terran.
Yeah.
It seems like it's going to just be impossible for Sharp to ever get up there and do damage to it. But he is going to push out now. Now, Marine Medic versus Ling Muta, they both can beat each other.
Yes.
It just depends on how the engagement goes. It's not like one is hard countering the other.
Yeah. Normally there's like a point where you'll hit a critical mass. Like, let's say you have 3 groups of Marines and like 6 medics or something like that. It's going to take so much Ling Muta to kill that, right? So you're kind of working up your numbers. Of 1 group, not that hard. 2 groups, kind of hard. 3 groups, the Zerg is going to run around you. They're not going to do it. So right now he's trying to keep these Mutas back. Of course, all Queen has to do is keep this group of units busy long enough to get lurkers on the ramp of his third. And then he is secured enough that he'll be able to get into Defilers. There's almost 0% chance that he's going to die.
Terran's going to try to slip out a little bit further here. And we're just kind of waiting to see an actual engage here and how they're actually going to end up fighting.
Some Lings come in. Look at this. Just so decisive by Queen. Just runs in, clears just about a group right there and only loses Zerglings. It's really worthwhile.
That's exactly how you want to do it. If you're losing Lings and not Mutas, you did it right.
Yeah.
As long as you're taking out enough of the Marines.
Especially a small group like that. Like, it's so awesome, especially considering the amount of barracks that we see from Sharp. This was 3 barracks tech. So it's not like a 5 barracks play where they're just going to have that all refilled instantly.
So, Lurkers at the ramp is basically something you can't break. Not without Irradiate or something else. We don't have a Starport's done, right? Do we have it?
I believe the Starport is just about done, right?
Yeah, it's got to be somewhere around there. Until you get the Irradiate 2, you can't really do much against these Mutalisks. It's funny because it can look much easier to try to hold this off until you actually experience trying to control Marines and very brittle units trying to hold off these locations. By the way, that's a stacking trick. It looks like it's 1 Lurker, which, you know, a lesser player might freak out and try to run up because 1 Lurker on a ramp is easy to handle. With 3 stacked on top of each other, it's much harder to irradiate, much harder to do anything that's going to help you.
It definitely does get much more tricky to deal with something like that, just not knowing how many. So we just saw an armory go down. Once again, Sharp is doing this build that I really haven't seen too much. This is very similar to the Overwatch one, where he's going 1 Starport and siege tanks. I think that this could be something that he's thought to use against Queen, who seems to go for slightly later defilers than a lot of Zergs. But it's like kind of a much older style, moving out with siege tanks to siege mode and like lesser vessels. But it also looks, by the way, like he is getting ready to do a mech switch.
Well, this is actually a really good catch. Lurkers, as they hatch when you're on 3 bases, you really can't afford to lose any of them in a frivolous manner here. Even the hold position, Lurkers kind of messed up there a little bit too. Siege tanks actually just out of range here as the vessel comes up. If he can get these siege tanks in the right spot, he can absolutely combat these Lurkers. Oh my god, is that tank still alive?
Oh, somehow, some way, yes, indeed it is. Gonna push back those Lurkers. There are a lot of stifled Sunkens there, so it's gonna take him a little while to push through. This is a decent counter against tank pushes. It buys you a lot of time because they got to siege and unsiege.
And in case you guys are thinking, wow, that's a really ugly... Oh, hold on a second. Another attack comes in here. The Lurker burrowing is pretty good. A lot of those mutas taking damage. The tanks are destroyed, pushing Terran down below the bridge. By the way, Terran double expanding behind this. What I was saying earlier is if you look at the way those sunks are lined up like that, it looks pretty ugly. And not convenient to try to do that. It's actually great because the tanks have to siege and unsiege, and unsiege to push through that. So
against SK Terran, it's terrible because you want them all shooting at the same time. Against siege tanks, you want the tanks to siege and unsiege over and over. So there's like different formations for whatever you're playing against that you're going to want to utilize. Now, Sharp is going into mech. I'm getting I'm a little bit worried for him this game. That push looked strong for a little bit. He didn't even get caught by the whole position Lurkers in the center, right? He's played a very solid game. And I mean, not that he's out or anything, but he's going to this mech switch taking 2 command centers, but I feel like nothing too bad has happened to Queen as of yet.
Oh, just barely gets that Lurker down there. I think he's actually going to elevator more units up the ramp, right? Yeah, he is.
Looks like it. The Lurker's pushing their way up here slowly but surely. He's going to be able to clear that out.
He's going to have to go somewhere else with that dropship for sure.
Yeah, a bit too much there.
I thought that was a bit too ambitious of a move to try to...
This drop isn't going to work either.
Units. Yeah. I actually don't think he should be dropping with that one right there at all. I think he should send that back.
No, yeah, I think that drops he shouldn't be doing at all right now. Yeah, that's very painful. So here's the problem with what Sharp is doing here, in my opinion. I think that it's a little bit misunderstood how to do the bio into mech transition. I think even a lot of pros, the way that they do it, I really question. If I could be so bold, like when you're spending all of your bio like this, trying to get damage done, while you're doing this transition, like generally the way that you'll healthily get into your mech and then also be able to secure another main, because that is crucial for mech, is to have a bunch of bio that kind of just slows them down, right? He doesn't really have a lot of bio. He keeps spending it in pushes.
I totally agree. I mean, the degree of nudity that the Terran has as far as defense goes is kind of alarming.
Yeah, he's like sitting behind spider mines and vultures for the most part, which those can be really great, but if the Zerg is very much on top of clearing the mines, they're going to gain map control more quickly than you really want them to. And then how do you secure the bottom left when they have the options of running lings everywhere and doing drops? That's where it's going to become much more difficult for you as the Terran player, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Terran's going to try to come down here to the bottom left. Not a bad idea, actually, if you want to make another command center down there. There's this weird moment where the growth for Terran begins to, like, spike in a game like this. You would normally expect, and it usually was like this, where Terran was barely squeezing out bases. But with the mech switch, once you've littered the map with spider mines, you are able to suddenly just take bases with almost no recourse from the Zerg. And then the Zerg is playing this very turtled, technical game, trying to use drop, trying to get rid of mines. It becomes a very complex matchup at this point in time. And this is not how this matchup was historically played. This is actually something that Artosis and I were both caught off guard as we began to cast StarCraft 1 again over the last, I guess, a little bit under 3 years, to see how much a matchup like this could change. Where normally you started with either bio and stayed with it, or started with mech and stayed with it. Now it's been proven that as you go into the late game, you can actually do a full switch and get away with it at the highest levels.
Yeah, you definitely can get away with it, and I mean he's definitely full on into the switch right now. But I am a little bit nervous. He doesn't have a whole lot once the mines are out of the way, and we see a lot of lings were already being made by Queen. Generally, the Zerg will have a moment in the game where they kind of hit a critical mass of hatcheries and drones, and that's when you're going to see lings just continually clearing mines. Like, almost continually for the rest of the game, we should see these moves coming out. And see that group of bio, that's the type of thing that you really need some of those around to catch the lings coming out.
Right.
To prevent them from so easily clearing the mines. Because once the mines are gone, there's no tanks in the bottom left. How many tanks are guarding 6 o'clock? 0. How many tanks are at the third base? Probably 0. You know, he doesn't, if the full Zerg force hits somewhere, vultures don't beat it. You know?
Yeah.
You're actually just trying to slow them down right now.
Yeah, the combination of the infantry on the mines makes it really tricky. Oh my god, did that just connect on the lurker? Oh,
that was the sickest mine.
Wow. Good job here, targeting down the Defiler. How is that not dead? Oh!
Sick kill. Sick kill.
Wow. Something's going. Oh, I'm sorry, it's buildings. He's floating the barracks into the main here. Now, that might look funny to some of you guys that don't play a lot. You don't need the barracks at all, so you might as well just use them like they're hacks.
Yeah, no, just
like map
float
hack
around.
into the. Sometimes they'll make Scourge or something too. They'll fly into the buildings.
Oh,
It's just super annoying stuff can happen.
Yeah. That's like the units that are good against mech don't hit air units. So
yeah.
It's the barracks are basically safe. Okay, so the drops are starting, but again, Sharp is not truly secure anywhere. Look at this. 4 lings got in here. There's nothing to defend. This is why you need those bio groups everywhere, and he spent all the bio groups trying to get damage done with drops and whatnot, and it didn't work out well. Now, here comes this drop to the bottom left. I'm not sure what units he has down here, but I don't think it's very much.
Okay, a few lings beginning to crack in here, and we have a stream of blue Zerg headed southbound here. Look at that, all those lings coming down. And it seems like only half the map is really secured here by Sharp, which means there's going to be leaks everywhere. Queen just spilling into different areas, trying to use these lings to kill off workers. And keep in mind, these are late-game adrenal upgraded Zerglings with speed. They kill everything they touch very fast, so it's not like your typical lings you see in the early game, which are generally manageable if you just have something there to answer it.
All right, are we going to have a Defiler in here? Yeah, we do. So a single lurker. Oh my god, the lurker died before he got it burrowed.
Lame.
Yeah, so that was a bit of an execution miss by Queen. I'm sure he's doing a lot right now, but that's painful because if you get that burrowed, then he has to evacuate the mineral line immediately. So this drop gets cleared. This could have been very, very, very annoying.
Let's keep in mind there's only one other gas expansion that Zerg can really take here.
Yeah.
Not that gas is the most important thing right now. It's obviously very important, but not like it is in certain matchups right now. But there's only one more base in the top center. The other two bases are mineral-only bases, and it's hard to imagine Zerg holding either the center right or the center left base.
Yeah, in fact, if this gets full split map and he stops all the drops for a little bit, the rest of the game sometimes becomes a battle for those 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
But that's a weird type of game when we get into that situation.
Now, when we have these Ultras coming out, that's another thing you want to watch for. Ultras are very scary, but man, they take a lot of damage from mines. And Vultures are actually great against them. The Vulture's basically faster. So many shots can come out there. And that's why you want to have these things with drop. You're trying to drop in key locations, do damage. The Terran at this point in time is usually fighting with Vulture tank against that. So you can still pick up units and almost fly away like they're, I don't know, like it's a Reaver drop or something.
Well, when he comes down with this, there's a few options. He can drop into a base that just doesn't have much. You can't really go up the ramp and clear it very easily. He could drop on top of tanks or something like that, but look at this, the Vessel's coming. The Vessels are an integral part of this. Like, if he can just irradiate a bunch of Overlords that are trying to drop,
oh yeah,
you can make them drop into a terrible location. Now look at this, he's dropping on top of siege tanks. Defense Matrix going on. That is a great Dark Swarm, though, a great Dark Swarm.
So he's going to have to move some of these tanks out of there. And it looks like actually Terran's doing an excellent job of basically hanging on. The Zerg is forcing Terran to move away. By the way, the Zerg is starting to spike in supply as well. For a while here, it was Sharp with a ridiculously high supply, but you know the macro is really beginning to kick in here for Queen too.
Yeah, this is, it's getting a little bit hard for Sharp, as you can see, right? He really didn't have anywhere stabilized during this. And, you know, he's trying to get the bottom left stabilized, but 6 o'clock's being hit. Look at this, the Lings are starting to really flood in once again. Less and less red on the map up near Queen. It's hard to keep him back.
Okay, another Ultra begins to slip in here, but I gotta say these attacks are not really doing anything to deny these bases. Basically, the Zerg gets down in that location, and then Vultures come in and finally clean it up. And you know, Terran is beginning to outgrow the Zerg by a pretty huge amount. Now, there's not a ton of drones here for the Zerg, so I don't think the Zerg's going to be mining out very quickly, but it's getting tough here. If I'm Zerg, I'm going to get more and more uncomfortable the longer this game goes on.
Yeah, I mean, he could if the stabilization fully occurs, then it gets so hard to break the Terran. But it hasn't occurred yet. We don't have, like, huge turret walls. We don't have, you know, floating buildings on the sides that, like, for instance, see these coming before they hit. Oh, those Goliaths, a perfect catch!
Sick.
Oh, that's a huge moment for Sharp right there.
Oh, man, we don't even know what's in those Overlords here, but these Ultras are going to be dropped out. There's another attack coming here from the north that's going to merge up with this and wipe out everything guarding this bridge.
They're going to drop a few up here as well. It seems like there's enough tanks to probably clear it all up.
Oh, man, yeah, he's unable to quite break that area.
I tell you, those Goliaths were really, really clutch right there.
Yeah,
that was a big catch. If he has 2 more Overlords of units to drop on those tanks up there, then suddenly you have no tanks there, and the next attack comes, and the next attack comes, and eventually the Zerg can break through, but it seems like Sharp is beginning to stabilize everything.
One of the ways that is, you can start to see a Zerg lose this, because it can actually seem quite a bit like this is going to go on, these fights are going to look like this for a long time, is that the Zerg is going to run out of gas. We already see the gas is very low, especially when you compare that to what Sharp has. Sharp is balling when it comes to how much gas he has in the bank, but yeah, realistically, eventually the gas is going to get so low. We don't have that 12 o'clock spot with the gas acquired yet. That means you're just going to have Ultras and Defiler speed made off of that. And that's what every time you see an Ultra kill, it's a big deal in the big picture of this matchup.
I want to mention I don't see any drones at 12. I don't see any drones in the mineral, only on the top left. His supply is a little bit low. His bank is a little bit low. You know, there's other things you can do. Like if you are droned up in a situation like this. Oh, look at that, he's trying to pull that mine. That was a nice little mine pull.
That was cute.
Yeah, anyways, like, there are other things that you can do here, right? If they don't have a good vessel count, you could try like a Muta or Guardian switch. Probably Muta. But it definitely won't work in this situation. You can go Queens. And we all know Queen likes Queens. But like the way that he's been playing, the amount of Ultras he's made, we know he doesn't have Queens right now. And Queens take a long time to kick in because it's such an expensive spell to use, you know, Broodling.
This is,
on
by the way, the
CGs.
first. Oh, sick plague there. This is the first offensive, by the way, that we've actually seen from the Terran. I think this might have been
First mech offensive.
Yeah. That's what I meant. Now I gotta say, it's impressive that Zerg can hold off stuff like this. You might be someone who plays StarCraft 2 and look at the supplies here and think, how in the hell is Zerg alive? Zerg can do a lot more with little. Out of all the StarCrafts, it's the Zerg. Somehow you'll see a Zerg even lasting against a Protoss, and the Zerg has like 90 supplies.
It
Sometimes.
plays completely different from StarCraft 2 Zerg.
Yeah.
Thing is, I think StarCraft 2 Zerg is actually what they were aiming for with StarCraft 1
Oh,
Zerg.
absolutely. StarCraft 1 Zerg is somehow so scrappy but still functional. It's really impressive.
Yeah. It's a weird thing. But yeah, 115 supplies, yeah, it's okay.
So
200 is crazy scary though.
200 usually means you're dead.
Yeah.
You cannot let this.
It's
Zerg
hard
get
to
that
max
big.
a Zerg.
Yeah.
It is.
It's very, very difficult to actually ever pull that off. Now, because Sharp is last, okay, he beat me to it. Because Sharp lasted that long, he was finally able to max out, push in there, and begin to wipe out those bases. That means Sharp has a 2-0 lead. Could we have another 3-0? Artosis.
It is a possibility here. I'm getting a bit nervous. But that was a close game, actually. There was definitely some good points in there for Queen as well.
I feel like at this point in time, because of the anomaly of just 3-0s over and over like this, we now need to hope to only have 3-0s this entire tournament.
That sounds...
I don't know why we're rooting for close games if we're on a streak like this. Think about it.
That is a good point. We could have the
Don't we
worst
do that in
history
every
this
other
season
tournament,
of any
Artosis?
esports. Yeah.
Ooh, hope the games are close and fun. Nah.
No, I hope it's
I
all
want really
one-sided.
bad one-sided games.
I want to have a tournament where the best player is so much better than the second best player, who's so much better than the third best player, who's so much better than the fourth best player, so on and so forth. Yeah,
I want
sounds good.
awful games where 2-0 and in game 3 it's like, a bunker rush just kills Sharp immediately and everybody's high-fiving, yeah!
It's hype.
Hype. Sorry, kills Queen immediately, not Sharp. I mean,
Okay.
if Sharp loses,
Well,
that'd be terrible. We'd have an actual close match. We don't want that.
Well, I mean, these games have been pretty good, pretty back and forth. Like that one, there was
These games
moments,
are better than the ones we had before.
Oh, for sure.
What we started out with.
That would be hard to be more one-sided than those. But there was definitely moments in there, and Queen. Too many of his drops got caught. I thought. When you're like loading a bunch of ultras into drops over and over, and then like you're losing them to Goliaths, and you're dropping them on top of siege tanks and stuff. The thing is, as soon as you get one of those drops off, and the Terran does not just smack it down, it does so much. Like if he had gotten a good drop off in the main base in the bottom left, you clear it. It's cleared, and the Terran has to go retake it, and they're in a terrible spot. But Sharp his defense was a bit too good there, and did a good job.
It was also a great game where we got to see how Terran really can transition into mech and then go for an exhaust play. Most wins in those games are really the Zerg using all their resources to come in there and attack and close it out. That's what we saw that time. We're going to go to a quick break. We come back, game 3.
해설 김정민,
해설 엄재경.
게임캐스터 전영준입니다. 우리 스타크래프트 유저분들께 보통은 중계를 통해서 여러분께 다가갈 수 있는데 이 아나운서 팩은 거의 유일하게 게임하시는 그 현장에 제가 여러분을 찾아갈 수가 있어요. 또 여러분은 플레이하시면서 저를 보실 수 있는 거의 유일한 기회입니다. 저를 들으실 수 있고 여러분이 직접 마우스와 키보드를 잡으셨을 때 제 목소리를 들으실 수가 있고 저 또한 그 순간에 여러분과 함께 할 수 있게 되는 이런 기회여서 정말 무한한 영광으로 생각합니다. 저도 중계할 때 에너지 관리 잘하자고 항상 생각하고 있습니다. 뉴클리어 핵 공격이 들어오고 있습니다. 빨간 점 찾아야죠. 어딘가요? 저거는 빨간 점 찾기가 어렵잖아요.
뭐 그러면 안 됩니다. 막히면 안 됩니다. 이런 것들이 좀 많아요. 그게 뭐냐면 제가 프로게이머 출신이다 보니까 뭔가 사람들의 플레이를 답답해하는 거, 서플라이가 막히면 안 됩니다. 보급고가 막히면 안 됩니다. 이런 얘기들을 정말 많이 했어요. 근데 저는 그 부분이 되게 중요한 것 같아요. 보급고, 서플, 오버로드가 자주 막히면 게임을 잘 못해요. 여러분들 잘 들으셔야 됩니다. 그게 막히면 티어도 오르지 않고 실력도 절대로 안 오르거든요. 제 얘기 들으면서 오버로드 막히거나 인구수 막히면 반성하시고 바로바로 빠르게 익숙해지시길 바라겠습니다. 거기에는 지울 수 없습니다. 지형 잘 봐야죠. 인구수 막혔어요. 집중해야 됩니다. 인구수가 자주 막히니까 티어가 떨어지는 거예요.
세계에서 가장 유명 게임 캐스터가 됐으면 좋겠습니다. 지금 솔직히 그런지 잘 모르겠고요. 당연히 망국공터 이거죠. 제제! 입니다.
굉장히 그 10여 년 동안 제 중계를 이렇게 재미있게 지켜보셨던 팬분들 입장에서는 어떤 제 목소리는 이제 들을 데가 없잖아요. 뭐 용준이하고 정민이는 지금도 왕성하게 활동을 하고 있기 때문에 종종 들을 수 있지만 제 목소리는 거의 들을 수 없습니다. 근데 범재경의 목소리를 이런 충고를 하고 중계를 하는 이런 느낌을 받으면서 들을 수 있다는 거, 게임을 할 수 있다는 거, 이게 이제 제가 가진 강점이 되겠죠.
컨트롤만 잘하면 제일 무서운 게 토스예요. 집중해서 싸우면 됩니다. 자기가 버텨야죠. 쓸 수 있을 때까지 어떻게 버티느냐가 중요합니다.
제 팩을 사면 여러분들의 티어가 오른다고 저는 확신합니다. 저의 팩에서 저의 앙칼진 목소리와 그리고 여러분들 계속해서 지적하고 때에 따라서는 다독이면서 당근과 채찍을 제가 기가 막히게 드리고 있거든요. 여러분들이 게임이 좀 안 될 때 계속해서 동기부여까지 해줄 수 있는 그런 팩입니다. 자, 그러니까 김정민 아나운서 팩 반드시 사야겠죠?
그건 거짓말입니다. 제가 생각했을 때는 세 사람의 목소리가 함께 있는 팩이 제일 나을 거예요. 가성비, 재미도 가장 있을 것 같고 저라면 그걸 삽니다.
제가 2002년에는 뭐 박정석, 이명환 경기 중계를 했고 2005년 중계는 뭐 최현성, 그리고 그 이후에는 뭐 이윤열, 그리고 2010년 전후에는 이영호, 이재동 경기, 김태현 경기를 중계했습니다. 올해는 여러분의 경기입니다.
Welcome back to the KSL. We have a 2-0 lead right now. Sharp is killing it. And now we've officially changed our stance on what we want in our games of the KSL. We were rooting for close matches, for 3-2s.
Yeah.
Well, we switched teams now. We're Fairweather fans. The streak is too good of 3-0s. And so now we hope for a one-sided crushing defeat of Queen.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm on board with you.
Yeah, let's do it.
You've convinced me.
I think I sold
I
this
hope
one
that
well.
Sharp just destroys him right now on Cross Game. Cross Game is a two-player map. Low ground main, high ground natural, low ground outside the natural. So it plays a little bit
rap
differently
god,
because of
that rhymed.
that. Did it?
Yeah.
Low ground main, high ground natural, low ground outside the natural. That rhymes.
No, those are just the same words over and over again.
Yeah. It's like when Tasteless makes a rap song, he thinks that all of his lines rhyme because they all end with Tasteless.
I go, orange, 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 orange.
Oh, my.
Okay, guys, sorry.
You know, this is interesting. Queen has chosen Cross Game, and it looks like our record so far here is 2 wins for Zerg and 0 for Terran. I always thought that this was actually a good map for Terran in this matchup.
Well, it's hard to take numbers this small and glean too much. But
No,
maybe there is something. Maybe, there's an exploit or some kind of fundamental problem that you have to face that makes it difficult in maybe mid-game or late game or even early game.
There's a ton of changes from low ground, high ground that you have to go through on this map. So that is definitely something. There is a very easily defendable third base for Zerg as well with the gas. But I feel like it's kind of a aggressive muta map almost. Like maybe we'll see a Guardian Rush or something this game.
Let's find out. Game 3 has loaded up. Queen versus Sharp. Let's go. We've got Queen here in the bottom left and Sharp in the upper right. We had a quick command center first, I should say, here for Sharp that led him to a victory. In Game 2, it was Queen opening with a very quick pull, potentially to try to counter a second command center first. Let's see how the openings go this time around, because Sharp showed that he's very comfortable completely backing off from that macro-esque opening start of Game 1. I think Queen is really in a position where you probably can't try to take risks at all. You probably need to try to win in 3 pretty straight-up games, I think, at least as far as build orders go. I think that there's just...
no like complete trick. You don't want a coin flip build, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
But-
Well, if you do, it's like, God, I bet you're going to be really happy if you move on because this doesn't feel like it should work.
Yeah. So Sharp's going to do a Ling-tight wall here. Obviously, going to be very good if Queen tries to get aggressive. It doesn't look like Queen will be. No early pool or anything like that. Using that little bit of a larva trick to send those over to the left side.
That is one of the bugs that was discovered later on in StarCraft, that you can actually force larva to go to the left side of the hatchery.
Yeah, not the right, but the left.
That's right.
So, yeah, if you're mining over there and you're going to make drones, they may as well be closer to the mineral patches.
No
Oh my
barracks
God,
yet.
he's going CC first again.
Oh, man. Sharp is going to get away with murder again this time.
That's what we want, right?
That's what we want.
I
One-sided
have tears in my eyes as I ask you. That's what we want, right? Oh my God.
Hey, man, we got to keep this streak going.
Well, he's got a nice build here. That's for sure.
The player who wins a game after losing the first game, we call him the combo breaker. There's been prophecies about this player coming around in KSL.
Okay, he's blindly going 3 bases before pool. So he's literally just predicting that this is exactly what's going on, and he's right.
Crazy.
He just predicted. He's like, you're going command center first. There was not a drone scout, okay? There wasn't a drone scout. He doesn't know there could be a Marine on the way to his base.
The Zerg doesn't even know that his plan has worked out yet. But I got to say, it's not the end of the world here for Sharp, really. You know, you could still, I think, win a game like this. You're still in good shape. You're not going to be taking any damage. Is there some kind of a play that the Terran wants to go for when you see that third hatch before the pool? Is there some kind of timing where you can come in there and do damage and slow them down?
I think you go 2 barracks immediately, and that's it. You go 2 barracks, you get your academy, medics, Marines, and you walk out because there's 2 areas they have to defend, their natural and their third base. So, yeah, see, second barracks going up immediately this game instead of the gas like we saw in the previous 13cc game. So, basically, he has 2 places to defend, and you can hit them before tech is out, before lurkers are out, before mutas are out. So, how does he defend it? Like, are you going to make a bunch of sunkens? Okay, that's actually advantage Sharp suddenly, right? And if you don't make enough sunkens, he kills it anyways. Do you go masslings? Well, Sharp's going to be careful about that. Maybe he'll bring a fire bat along.
I'm just gonna sound like a dumb person asking this,
Yeah,
but I
no,
don't know.
please do.
I don't know this matchup at all. Is it possible to do a Hydra bust or something like that against this?
No.
Is it because it's too scoutable, or is it just that Hydras are?
Well, Hydras are
Garbo.
pretty bad against Terran in general, but he has 2 barracks, so he just will never have so few units that a Hydra bust would work. Like,
Okay,
you
so
just
it's-
rally Hydras over there all day. You'll just kill them. He'll make a bunker, and you'll attack in, or you won't. If you don't, and you just keep massing crappy units, he'll just make good units and kill them. Or you attack in, he holds it with the bunker, and then kills you. So it's... Hydra busts are against 1 barracks. Like, if you go 1 barracks eBay, you could make it work against that, or if you go, like, mech or something, right, you're going to be really low on Marines. Those are the situations where you could try a Hydra bust.
Well, is there any kind of timing that the Zerg wants to try to come in here that can just trip up the Terran, or is it because they both kind of a gentleman's agreement almost when you do builds like this, things are going to become more action-packed just at a later point. The way things are operating fundamentally, you can't really have timing attacks or engagements.
The Zerg has too much territory to defend, so he can't get aggressive, especially against a Ling-tight wall. Like, he has to defend, and that's just the role he chose because he took that quick third base. So there's really nothing he can do to attack.
What about like a Ling Lurker? Is that viable with this?
Yeah, you can absolutely go Lurker with this. He's not doing it this time. He's actually going to go Crazy Zerg, which I think is a great choice.
What's Crazy Zerg?
This is going to be completely Lurkerless, completely Defilerless. He's just going to go Ling Muta until he gets into Ultras.
Oh.
Lots of carapace. You rush to +2 carapace as quickly as you can, and then you have normally this timing where you have +2 against just +1 Marine attack, like +2 carapace and chitinous plating. Yeah, the bio doesn't win that fight.
So these Lings are trying to bait out a stim, pull any units away. They might get close. The infantry is going to come out here on the map.
Yeah, see, he's making 2 sunks there. How many sunks at the third base?
2.
At the third as well? Yeah.
2.
Yeah. Well, this is fine. Look at this. This little group of bio just forced 4 sunks. And guess what? If he reinforces it, then it's going to need more sunks. And it's going to get worse and worse. But look, the mutas will eventually be out. So Sharp will have to back up a little bit here. Sharp just kind of doing his rounds. Eventually he's going to scan. And obviously he needs some turrets and to defend against these mutas. That's really important. Okay, where did he just scan? I just don't know. There's no way to tell. Our observer didn't jump over there to try to figure it out. So the important things to scout are the Spire. I think he just assumes it's Spire. It really feels that way. Okay.
So in this game, is it obvious to the Terran that he's going to go for Crazy Zerg?
On a map like this, you're always thinking about that because
Okay.
the Defiler play is going to be kind of difficult
Are
to
you
hold on
looking
everything.
for any specific building or
Just the Evo. See that Evo right there? If he
Yeah.
scans it, he'll know exactly what it is and exactly how to play the rest of the game.
Okay.
So, yeah, like he just scanned again. I think it was the natural, and the Queen's Nest went down after the duration of the scan, I believe. So he's not sure of what's going on strategically yet.
Okay, the mutas are just on the edge here, looking for any opening to do any damage here. We have a starport on the way, so science vessels are going to be a reality pretty soon here. I don't know that Queen can come in here and do too much more damage, though. It seems like overall, Terran is pretty secure.
Yeah. It really doesn't look like too much, but he's got to keep tabs. He's got to try to see if he can pick off a Marine here and there. I think that Sharp basically knows what's up. That this is either going to be like really heavy Muta or maybe Crazy Zerg at this point, because his build looks really perfect at the moment. Okay, he scanned the third. He knows exactly what's going on now.
Now, keep in mind, guys, when you see this style of play, it can look very tough for the Terran to deal with, and it is, but you've also skipped a lot of major features of healthy late-game ZvT. And so if the Terran techs and develops normally and the game is eventually drug out for a very long period of time, the Zerg might not have the necessary assets to survive a super long game.
This is really cool because Sharp he's playing this so perfectly. Like starting his second eBay immediately, you just have to keep up on upgrades. This is the most crucial thing against this, is you can't be caught with just +1 attack against 4 Carapace Ultras. That's where your Marines just tickle them and they kill your whole army, and then as soon as you lose an army, Zerg gets up to 5 bases. Okay, so that Hydralisk Den, I don't think we're going to see any lurkers out of it.
No, I think it's just for looks. I think that's to maybe
I could be wrong.
The Terran here.
But I mean, if he made it, the thing is, what I'm saying is generally how this build is played, but StarCraft is a game where you can actually do anything you want, and the better you get, the more you can do anything you want.
Right,
so
right.
there is, of course, the possibility, and if you guys at home want to try this build, absolutely make some lurkers if you want. But there is the Ultralisk Cavern, and that is the main part of this strategy.
We already see that Queen is floating quite a bit of gas right now.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, it's right now it's the 3-base Ultra. There is going to be a 4th base coming up here. The difference in the number of Ultras you can get on 3-base compared to 4-base is pretty huge. Mm-hmm. So we want to see if there's any way that Sharp can come in and stamp out the 4th base. Because on 3-base Ultra, if you just get a few Ultra kills here and there, get some good irradiates, eventually you can get that number down.
So Sharp is moving out with a reasonably sized group. Sometimes what you'll see is the Terran try to bust the 3rd right before Ultras. And I think, especially once he holds this, that's going to be doable.
Oh my God! He's going to pull that.
Oh my
God!
Wow!
Oh!
Well, wrong Muta, unfortunately, but that was sick. And now if he sends all of his bio at the 3rd, I think he can actually break it, even though it's a small ramp going up.
No, I think he can force his way there.
I think he can break that.
Does he have a 3rd vessel out? Is there any defensive matrix? Sometimes.
No. Actually, his 3rd and 4th should be out, but he won't have defensive matrix yet.
Okay.
Okay, so he's moving. Maybe just kill the 4th, because all those eggs are Ultras right now.
Yeah, this is a great play. He just comes up here, and I mean, I guess the 4th is a free kill, right? Now, there's a Nidus being made, but unfortunately that can't be used to transport units over there. Good connection.
Good hit.
If the Zerg can take out a few science vessels, there's way less tools here for the Terran to try to punish.
You know, I've found that in my personal play, like, it's very hard to keep your vessels alive against this style. Oh, this is so painful. so
Hey,
painful. I mean,
why
at
not?
least you got it
Yeah,
off.
why not?
What happens is when they engage, if they bring Scourge along, the Ultras are what get targeted.
Right.
So it gets kind of hard. You have to actually target every Scourge individually before they hit your vessels, which is a little bit difficult. But look, Sharp is taking his own third. He's getting back home in time. Okay, 1-1 is done. His +2 attack, I don't think he should move again until he's got +2.
Dude, Sharp's macro this game has been so good.
Yeah.
It's really hard to keep up with everything in this matchup specifically because you're moving so many units and rebinding so many control groups. Now, the Lings and Ultras are coming down.
He has 4 carapace. This is the important moment. This is where he has the edge over the Terran army. Let's check the Terran upgrades. Come on, click on a Marine. This is so important. I love that he's making these bunkers right now.
Yeah.
He needs to make sure that there isn't an engage until +2's done.
Oh, he's trying to click on a Marine.
Okay, he's got +2. He's got +2. This is so important. Great irradiates coming down as well.
Oh!
And look at that. He's got to turn around.
Great save there, and all those Ultras eating so much damage. Some of them put on hold position, but the Marines are going to try to come across here and do a little bit more damage.
Oh, he can fight right now. No problem. He's got the upgrades. He's hit some sick irradiates as well. And Queen is sitting here on just 3 bases. With this build, you're really looking to hit this 4 carapace timing, do a good job with it, and then expand more. But he hasn't been able to expand more.
So does Terran go for the kill now? Is that the game plan?
I don't think you can actually kill him. If you try to attack into Sunkens and he nails you from 2 sides with Ultra Ling, you will lose your army still. So I think what you do is you just run around and pressure everything and pick off anything you can.
Okay, he's coming up now. Again, these Scourge trying to find a kill on some of these vessels, and they are not able to get over there and do that damage.
So many vessels.
Again, you know, when you're losing Scourge and not connecting, man, it's tough because you need every little bit of gas you can get on 3 base.
Yeah, you really need everything. I mean, this is a scary army right here. Look at this, jumping back and forth right now. He's trying to avoid any irradiates on these Ultras as well. If you see the vessels coming, you just pop them through. It's a beautiful move.
Oh.
But that irradiate, like, for instance, is awesome. It's dealing so much damage to all the Zerglings around it. This is a hard area to attack into. Right now what's happening is Queen is hoping that Sharp makes a mistake. That he does some sort of attack that's like a blunder where he just kind of loses his patience and thinks he can kill him. And then maybe he can clear an army, kill the vessels too. And he is double expanding to the top. So it's risky, but we'll see if it works.
Yeah, he's kind of expanding around the army. But this should be pretty easy. I mean, Terran's going to be scanned. There it is, scanning for this exact moment. And again, all you do is go up there, and they have to cancel.
Mm-hmm.
There's just no other way. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, great play here to just come in and try to irradiate some of these.
That's so good.
Yeah, because
That's so good.
These Ultras are going to become much more squishy later on.
Yeah, just keeping their health low, especially when you're walking around eliminating possible 4th bases. Eventually, Queen has to fight. He can't just sit in 3 bases until he mines out and then just wait for you to kill his buildings. That won't work. He's got to do something, but Sharp is just playing a magnificent game.
And Sharp isn't burdened with having to out-expand the Zerg here. The Zerg is basically slowly running out of oxygen here. Mm-hmm. And it's actually up to the Zerg to make something happen. And so here's that big attack right now. But man, there's 3 bunkers here, vessels, and so much infantry. Oh!
That was the latest Dark Swarm ever. That's too bad because actually in situations like this, you don't really make a bunch of fire bats or anything.
Right.
So yeah, like sometimes a Dark Swarm attack can do pretty well if they don't have a lot of irradiates. Unfortunately, that one failed. Trying to come up with another now, but this army of, look at this, he's up 100 supply almost.
Great irradiate.
Sharp has just played so well. He's played so well this game.
I think we're about to see the Zerg just run out of gas here. They're just,
sick
the
play
irradiates.
Yeah, nothing of this matters.
Yeah, we might even see GG right here. There's just no way.
Wow, Queen first out of this tournament. And the thing is, he's really good. He's so good. I think we're going to see really big things from him in the future, but this is not a great result for his first big tournament back.
No, he's getting basically smashed here.
Yeah.
This is brutal.
Yeah, and he stays in the game after that. Okay. Trying to come up and force his way in with the Defilers. The thing is, he hasn't reduced the vessel count at all, so there's like just no chance of this continuing to work. If there were no vessels, you could stand here all day trying this.
Yeah, when Terran gets enough vessels in a super long, drawn-out game like this, oh, now that's pretty cute. He can just, with the plagues that were on there, try to snipe that down.
Hey, yeah, you killed like 4 of them. That's pretty good, but there's still like 4 or 5 left.
Yeah, just the value you get out of irradiating over and over and over and over again. Now, I do want to point out, Sharp needs to take this pretty seriously, these few defilers that are coming through here, because, you know, if you don't have any fire bats or anything that can do damage at all to units under Dark Swarm, eventually, if they get enough on here, you would lose this position. But it seems like Sharp should be able to stabilize and move on.
Well, this is basically power overwhelming is what we're watching, right? Irradiate is the only thing that's stopping this right now. It's so funny to watch.
The funny thing is,
yeah, you just can't kill these, sorry.
Terran has so many units, it's like you can actually just wait for the Dark Swarm to go away.
Yeah, that's what he has to do, right?
Yeah.
He's used all his irradiates and more units keep coming. It like almost looks like Queen is doing something here, but
yeah,
eventually these clouds will dissipate and he will kill everything that's left.
Yeah, the Marines are just too strong.
But look at this, he's reduced his supply by like 40.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, I just don't know, man. I don't think these are going to be able to make it. GG, there it is. And we got our dream, guys.
Wow.
Another 3-0. And what we're hoping to have is the most one-sided KSL in the history of esports.
Yeah. We're on our way to it right now. I'm surprised that Queen went out last place in his group, to be honest. But I shouldn't be, because he is the freshest. Just got out of the military. I think we will see big things from him in the future. But Sharp goes into that final match for a rematch against Modesty, who already knocked him down.
Hell yes.
Yeah, that should be a very good match to see them regame. I think that Sharp played really, really well tonight. Especially that game, that was textbook, perfect, immaculate play against a very common strategy that's very difficult to play against.
So that does it for tonight. Again, we're not having to have any games that are back and forth at all. Queen, although he looked like a great player, he was unable to hold off Sharp, who just looks to be, again, on another level. Sharp with excellent build orders. A lot of game 2, I think we could say was Queen kind of taking a risk, and then it didn't pay off, and then Sharp was very good at that mech transition. But again, I think you could see that Sharp is a player who is still continuously, steadily improving.
Yeah, and that's so exciting to see for someone that's up that high, that continuous, steady improvement. Because a lot of players get to the top where they're like basically very close to championship level, and they just kind of stagnate a bit because it gets so hard to actually improve up there. But Sharp is clearly still doing it.
He looks really scary, Artosis. I thought he really handled that last game really well, too. Just
that
being
was
patient,
amazing.
Knowing when to attack and when to wait. And you can see how scary Ultra is with those defilers and the lings. But
it's funny what it can do, but when you've been starved that long, he's already weakened everything with the radiates over and over.
He just outpaced him so perfectly.
He played really well. That's like, I every time I lose to Crazy Zergstra, I'm just going to go back and rewatch that VOD and learn.
Yeah, he really exhibited a lot of patience and understanding of what the Zerg had as far as strengths in that specific period of time, but also when the weaknesses would start to reveal themselves.
Well, I mean, I'm hoping that he can make it into the next round, because I don't think 4GG really has too much of a shot, right? So that leaves us last in his winter match, Ample in his winter match.
Yes.
Maybe we can actually, let's get some Terrans up there. I was really worried at first that we were going to have a few, but maybe we'll get them through.
Here's our results today. The way God intended it. 3-0, 3-0.
Yeah.
No close games here for this KSL so far. Maybe we'll have a twist in this story.
Well, those first 2 days that you and I were doing Super Tournament, there was actually some very good series, but, well,
now that we're here,
what are you gonna do? Hey, we get to watch Sharp Modesty. That went to Game 5 when they first played. So
that's true. Looking forward to seeing that.
You watch Sharp's gonna 3-0 him. It's gonna be like, oh, okay.
Wow. We're gonna be back tomorrow with Group B, by the way. Same time, same place, 7 p.m. KST on twitch.tv, or no, twitch.tv/Starcraft.
Well, I think that is pretty much everything, right? Like,
I think we did it, Artosis.
we did it. It was actually a pretty fun day, though. I would say props for that last game of the day. I think that was an amazing display. So our games tomorrow, the winners match, Miso against Ample. Not the one you would expect seeing these names, right?
Yeah.
Snow and Shine. These guys have both been in the finals of ASL. So these are like really high-end guys that are basically always qualifying for leagues and always doing well.
Yep.
Being knocked out by the still up-and-comers. I mean, the thing is, I say up-and-comers, these guys were pros like before StarCraft 2.
Right.
You know, like how it's like BC was like before the year 0? We need something like that to say before StarCraft 2.
Yeah. BS.
Before
StarCraft
2. BS2.
Yes.
BS2. It's like SC2. Like what
Just
am I
rolls
doing?
right off the tongue.
Yeah, BS2.
Glad we solved that problem. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. We should be going to an interview soon, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we've changed that this week here at KSL. So,
Well, the winners going through, we want to hear from them.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to see what Sharp has to say after winning that series. Really cool games here from Sharp. I mean, I'm curious, you know, whether it's this year or later on, if Sharp can actually prove himself to be the best Terran in the world, because I feel like he is just steadily improving.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit hard with how good Last is. When Flash goes to the military, it automatically goes to him. Because Last is still improving too. Like, he's looking stronger and stronger. He's a double champion already. Sharp has only made it to a couple finals. The first one doesn't count as much.
But I'm just saying, I feel like he really is getting better and better here.
He is.
And I'm curious to see how much better he can actually get, because
he's got such an exciting style too. He's actually a very aggressive Terran player.
There's something about just his personality as well. He's someone you really root for. You know, you could see he wears his heart on his.
He's not robotic
sleeve
at
or
all.
whatever you say.
A lot of Terrans just kind of become very robotic.
Yeah.
They become
Well,
a
like
product
Last.
of the race. The race just does something to us, and like it's hard, you know, to show emotion still.
Not for you, Artosis. I've seen your stream.
Me and Sharp, man, we
yeah,
got
you
our
are
emotions still intact.
I'm not sure how much longer we're going to wait here, but I think soon we're going to go to this interview. We'll let you know what Sharp is thinking.
Oh, we're not.
Oh, we don't have an interview. Okay. All right. So instead, you will sit here and look at us.
Okay. Hi.
Hi. But yeah, we're going to be back tomorrow, same time. So definitely join us for that. We're also going to be casting GSL Code S on Saturday at 1 p.m. KST on the GSL Twitch channel.
Yeah. On Sunday off. That's Children's Day. So I'll play with my children, and you can come over and I'll teach you how to ride a bike too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's about time I learned how to ride a bike.
Yeah, it is about time.
Yeah, it's good to be back here. Kind of nice to mix it up too. We had 3 days of StarCraft 2 in a row. Good to come down here and do some StarCraft 1.
Yeah,
keep it
keeps
fresh.
It does keep it very fresh in that way. I love doing both the StarCrafts.
Oh, isn't this cool?
Yeah.
I never would have thought
Like,
when we
hey,
started
do you wanna
doing
do
StarCraft
both
2,
the
we would
best
also
games
get to
ever?
go back and do StarCraft 1 as well.
Yeah.
Very cool of Blizzard to remaster their one of their classic games. I don't think any sport needs to go away. I don't think any game needs to die. So,
well, I have a different opinion on that. I think some esports need to go away and die. But
actually, yeah.
you
know what I mean, though. The old ones, the classic ones that everybody likes and
Totally.
agrees are actually good and are
Agree with you
actually
on that.
esports.
Counter-Strike, Street Fighter, StarCraft,
All the
Warcraft
classics.
3. Let's
yes,
keep
I'm
them going.
fine with that. Yeah, there's some new things where they're like, we're an esport too, and I'm like,
until your developer money dries up.
yeah. Do we find out there's not enough competitive complexity in your game? Yeah. Wow, we're really just gonna have to keep talking for a long time. The show's done.
That's okay.
Well, do you have anything else you want to say, Artosis? Anything we need to
let's
talk
see.
about?
Did the Pylon show today. Check out the VOD.
Check out the Tasteless Podcast.
YouTube.com/ArtosisTV.
Check out the Tasteless Podcast wherever you download your podcast or on YouTube. And we can close it out. We good? Let's do it. Let's just see what happens. Goodbye.